employee engagement side, we were doing it internally, and then we got Gallup to do it over the last several years, and it's amazing how that score has just gone through the roof. I forget what they call that ratio, but it's like a 12-to-1 ratio, which is positive results to negative, which really tells you just how how engaged are the employees. And I don't think you get that without what you just said, the empathy, right?
The empathy, yeah, the concern,
yeah,
caring. Yeah. And the other one was turnover.
Yeah, we're probably 10% below the average, so a big number there. And we just don't lose, so the retail staff is where the loss comes from. And so, which is kind of normal, I hate to say normal, but the most of our other jobs, we just don't lose that many people.
That's very important. Very telling. Yeah.
It's interesting. We start this purpose work this next year. I told our team, I said, we're going to lose about 10 to 15% of our employees, because of this purpose work. And isn't it going to be cool? Because we're going to release people to their passion.
That's a wonderful way to look at it.
And they're going to be our biggest advocates in the community we ever could have had. I went to work through this company, and they released me to go do what I love.
Aren't they great?
Yeah, aren't they great? Yeah. And I'm like, so sometimes we can get too tied into those numbers,
Sure.
Sometimes the best thing you do for someone is help them find what they're really passionate about.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. So just, what's their passion? What's their love? And how do we help them get to where they want to go?
That's great.
Earlier in the conversation, you mentioned you went through this period where you realized that you'd lost the culture as a part of a pretty significant growth.
Yeah.
Can you share with us a few of the things that you did to recapture that and then retain it through this much larger growth that followed?
The leader had to go to school. And I really mean that. I really had to go to school and say, how do you scale an organization? How do you verbalize the purpose of the organization? How do you create values? How do you build a strategy that connects people? And what's the personal development that I have to do? I remember one of the coaches, a guy named Rick Voren. He came around along in my life, but I questioned myself. I said, do I have the ability to run this organization? And I really didn't. I didn't know the answer. And he said, Greg, of course you have the ability, but do you have the willingness to work on yourself an hour every day for the next 10 years? And we've been working together for about 12 years. And it was about a year ago, he called me and said, what's your development plan for the year? And I said, hey, dude, you said 10 years. I think he wanted to, number one, know that I was committed, but number two, knew that after so many years, development never stops. And if you want to be a leader, and I was so busy in the business versus working on myself. And so it started, when we hit that skid mark, I had to look in the mirror at myself going, hey, these are my issues. It's not a company issue. It's a leadership issue. Now, what do I have to do to truly learn and develop and grow as a human being? And through that, you figure out the other things that need to be done in the culture.